you're dirt pouring. Daddy government gives you what you deserve. Though it sure is hard to be disciplined. Sure is hard to see your sisters win. A lot easier to sit and sin, sloth and distance them. Let the blisters boil and never witness him.
You deserve this. You deserve this.
You deserve everything coming to you. Give the government something to do.
You deserve this. You deserve this.
You deserve all the glamour in life. Sit back and let the government package it right.
Why work for it when I can give you what you need? Why work for it when I can lift you up for free? Why work for it? Why work for it?
Why work for it when you're dirt poor? Daddy government gives you what you deserve. Doris, try not to improve yourself. Try not to renew your health. Try not to try too hard. Don't set a goal, I move the stars. No one's got it worse than you. They try to keep you down, it hurts to move. Struggle after struggle, you're cursed and bruised. That's why the government's got work to do.
You deserve this. You deserve bliss.
You deserve everything coming to you. Give the government something to do. You deserve this. You deserve bliss. You deserve all the glamour in life. Sit back and let the government package it right.
Why work for it when I can give you what you need? Why work for it when I can lift you up for free? Why work for it? Why work for it? Why work for it? Why work for it?
Doris, because you are Doris. Take control of your life and suffer with pride.
You deserve this. You deserve this.
You deserve everything coming to you without the government taking it too. You deserve this. You deserve this. You deserve all the glamour in life. Stand up and let your stamina shine.
Why work for it? I can give you what you need. Why work for it? I can lift you in peace. Why work for it? Why work for it?
On this, our nation's 250th birthday, we come together to celebrate. We come together to remember exactly who we are and where we come from, and also where we're going. Shout to Logan Lansing, the absolute king of these political, these big time songs that he's made. He's actually got an album that he made several months ago that I would highly encourage you all to check out. Welcome to this special edition of Apostate Radio, the Apostate Radio Reading Room. I am, of course, ILC, and I hope you all are well today. Hope you all are enjoying this beautiful day. There are several things. I mean, I'm going to be reading some of our I'm going to be reading the Declaration of Independence. There's several things I'm going to be reading this morning. Because the reason why I wanted to do this, and let me just get some more people in here, because I want people to, I want more people to like join us. So I'm going to pin this. We're gonna have some fun for a second. So just give me, matter of fact, I want to, while I'm doing this, I'm going to play a video that the White House put out several minutes ago in a post, and I think honestly, this is what it's all about today. I'm also going to be playing some clips from the president's speech from last night. It was a big speech. I went to bed a little early because I'm expecting some family to come. I'm expecting family coming up here from my home state of Maryland. My brother and his wife and their 4 beautiful children. 2 of my 7 nephews, oh, sorry, 2 of my 5 nephews, and my 2 beautiful nieces are coming up from Maryland, and I have missed them. And of course, I'll have pics of all that. You know, I'm gonna be big uncle today, and I can't wait. I've truly missed these babies. But while I get everything together, I'm just going to play this one. I'm going to play this video from the White House that they put out, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Today, America wakes. 250 years later, as a light for those seeking hope. A republic entrusted to its people. An idea that changed the world. A nation worth preserving. A dream worth pursuing. Freedom defended by every generation. The story continues. With this dawn, the next chapter begins.
With hand over heart, with thankfulness and joy, we say this pledge. And I don't know, I'm actually getting a little emotional thinking about it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We were never supposed, we were not a democracy. This country is not a democracy whatsoever. We were never meant, the founders of our nation knew exactly what the tyranny of the majority was all about. The founders of this nation knew that a democracy is exactly that, mob rule. And so they set about, after freeing themselves from the tyranny of the British crown, the tyranny of King George III, they set about building a new nation. When the Redcoats came back in the year of 1812, from 1812 to 1814, when they came back to get it back in blood, so to speak, because the Brits, the Redcoats of the British crown, they never thought of they wanted their colonies back. They wanted to be honest with you, the three wars, and I've thought about this a lot, like the French and Indian War, the American Revolution, and then the War of 1812, those three phases, those three wars are what shaped Western civilization the first time. The War of 1812 in particular, it's not really covered much these days. It's not really thought of much. But the reason why the War of 1812 is so important is because, one, the national anthem was penned by Francis Scott Key. And two, it was a defense. It was our first major defense from invasion of our homeland. They wanted their colonies back, and we weren't having it. And so, in the waters of the Patapsco River, just off the shores of Fort McHenry in Baltimore, Maryland, the city I hail from, was born and raised there. The United States managed a gigantic defense, a bombing that took hours. And Francis Scott Key, aboard a ship, watched as the massive flag, it bore 15 stars at the time. We had two new states that had been added from the original 13. He was inspired to write a song that perfectly captured our country's resilience. It's a song that has been maligned by communists, by leftists, by people who are completely devoid of understanding of context, devoid of the understanding of history. And why exactly why things had to be, why things were written the way they were. And so this morning, I would like to read through the entire Star-Spangled Banner. Because I want like the context of this must be understood. Why was this written the way this was? Why are things in there the way that they are? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? That's the part that we all know. That's the part that we hear every single at every single sporting event, every single, like before every sporting event, before, we hear it all the time. We read, if you're ex-military like I am, this is what we heard every morning. Most of us sing it in we can hear it. If you're an American, you hear it in your sleep sometimes. That's the part that we all hear. We hear like Francis Scott Key's like vivid description of the resilience of the flag, the resilience of our country in the face of aggression, the modern aggression of his time, the British crown that sought to enslave us again. That's our history. In the face of oppression, in the face of demoralization and destabilization by people who think they know better than us, by people who think that they are somehow better because they can push paper better than us, we have always had the audacity to say no. On the shore, dimly seen, through the mists of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes. What is that which the breeze o'er the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected, now shines in the stream. The glory of the flag as it still stands, regardless of regardless of its bombardment. How bad things how bad things looked, how bleak things may appear, we're still there. It still shines. We're still standing. 'Tis the star-spangled banner, oh, long may it wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. That's what it means. That's us. That's our heritage. That's our heritage right there. The communists dogs that lay waste or that try to lay waste to our country at every generation. Dogs like Colin Kaepernick, fraudulent dogs like Colin Kaepernick, and other leftists just like him. I've seen even some people that I've known for quite some time. They love the third stanza of the Star Spangled Banner. They love to throw out there like, oh, well, God, like this is proof that our country was founded on slavery. This is the proof that we're an evil white supremacist nation. It said slavery. You know nothing of this country. You know nothing of this country. You know nothing of our heritage. You know nothing about the country in which you whose resources you consume. If there's one thing I can't stand more than anything else, it's to listen to these fucking people talk absolutely crazy about this country. They live here. They pay taxes. Some of them make very good money. You know who you are. You make very good money. You sit up but yet at every single turn, y'all sit up and talk immense amounts of shit about this country and how entitled you are to live in some sort of socialist utopia because of the sins of a country from 200 plus years ago. You know nothing. Even the national anthem is racist. Oh, really? The enslavers came back to get the enslavers of this country. The British Crown came back and tried to spin the block. They got beat. Even when they burned down the White House, the original White House was burned to the fucking ground by the Brits. You wouldn't know that. Today, the one thing that the one thing that you're allowed to know and understand about the White House, you hear it all the time. Those slaves built the White House. Okay. And the Brits burned it to the ground. But y'all stop at that. And so when the slavers came, the original slavers came to get their property back and got beat the fuck up when they did it. Of course, Francis Scott Key had to talk some shit. And that's what this is. And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. We shed their blood. We took them out, and their own blood has basically cleaned their own fucking foul mess. No refuge could save the hiring and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave, and the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. No refuge could save the hireling and slave. That's what the Brits thought of us, folks. That is what the British Crown thought of the United States. That's what the British Crown still thinks of us today. The crown, not the people who live under the crown. King Charles III, the Muslim traitor king of England. You damn well, Keir Starmer, the now former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, you best believe he did. He does. They all think they're better than us. The British Crown and all them people and all of the European Union, the World Economic Forum, all of these, the Gog and Magog of this world, of the 21st century, they all think they're better than us. These fucking people were so happy to have us after, with the Marshall Plan after World War II. They were all so happy to have us, the United States of America, as the world's police. Yes, they wanted it that way. They engineered it that way. They wanted us to be the world's police, and we served that purpose for 80 years. We served that purpose. And meanwhile, European countries to this day, not up until recently, we'll call it, they relied on us to defend them, NATO. They relied on us to defend them, and we paid our money into NATO, and we paid our money and basically kept all of Europe safe while they expanded their social programs and brought millions of third worlders into their country. Despoetic said the speech was awesome. Trump's speech was awesome. I got interrupted a few times watching it. Had to go rescue my boss, and my wife, who is in Zimbabwe, called me. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing some clips a little later. But I wanted, but the purpose of this live is to read through these things, because we need to be reminded. We need to be reminded of our heritage. We need to be reminded of what and who we are as a country. Because let's be honest, folks, there are people coming who want to hurt us, who want to kill us, and they just want to break everything about this nation. They do. We can't have that. No refuge could save the hireling and slave. That, again, is exactly when I'm telling you right now, the spirit of the slaver, the spirit of the oppressor, the spirit of those who sought to put us all in chains, the spirit of the British Crown of old lies within the Democrat Party machine. Yeah, I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it right now. There is no difference. They consider us the hireling and the slave of the world. And as Francis Scott Key's glorious verse says, we took them out. We defeated our foes, and we remain a free nation to this day because of their sacrifice. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. and the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, thus be it ever, when free men shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just, and this be our motto: in God is our trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you, communists, for allowing this bit of Streisand effect. Because please understand, every time whenever you talk shit about our national anthem, please understand, I'm going to direct everybody to actually read the entire thing. And ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you to read through it, to understand exactly what the founding document, the national anthem. I know was several years after this country was founded, after Yorktown in 1781. I understand that, but you better read that thing. The national anthem is a founding document. Read it. Understand it, read it, live it, love it. Because within that document is how you stay free. I served in the Army in 2002. October of 2000. I wasn't in very long at all. Was 2002, October of 2002 to March of 2003. I wasn't in very long at all. I don't like talking about it because I felt bad for years that I wasn't able to serve as long as I wanted to. But the Star-Spangled Banner, when serving in the Army changed me in a lot of ways, because it allowed me, it showed me the meaning of what what it means to serve something much, much higher than yourself. Serving this country and true patriotism is so important to me. Like, 9/11 changed me. 9/11 actually inspired me to run, to go into the military. I wanted to go in. I went into the Army. I wanted to follow in my father's footsteps. My dad is, former Army. He was, he wanted to serve in Vietnam, and he didn't get to go over there. Thank God. If he had gone over there, he, God only knows what would have happened. but he wanted to serve. His heart was in the right place. And then he comes, and then, 50 plus years later, the man, 5 kids after marrying my mom, Robin, for, in July 12th of 1980, will make 46 years of marriage. I've been around for 44 of them. All things in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And it's true. All things do work together to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose. And that's what happened there. I do want to play this. I do want to play this. This clip. But let me just share a few of these, because I fear that, as like I said, there's a lot of people who have already who have viewed this. So I'm just going to share this share this with some other people. I want to get some folks in here. Some people who I know, and always share them in certain group. I always share these in certain group chats. So just bear with me a second here. There we go. I love this country, man. I love this. I love the United States of America. I love this country. I do. You get some of these fucking race narcissists that come in. They did some of these these race narcissists that want to come in here, and they're like, oh well, you black, you're not supposed to love this country. Like, what you love this country for? This country is racist as fuck. That country, white supremacist, black folk. We built this country. What the fuck did you build exactly? And if this country's so bad, if this country is so oppressive and so bad and so just like, oh my God, oh my goodness, I don't want to live here. Like this country's so bad. Get the fuck out, bro. Get out. If it's so bad, why are you here? Hey, great to see you, MTM Cast. Happy Independence Day. I love Patriot. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you. I really do. Get out, man. And that's not just for the hood rat communists, who I utterly despise. Like, these are motherfuckers who will sit up in the hood, drink up every resource, and then wonder why they're getting fucking replaced by illegals, by Democrats. This country's so racist. This country's so racist, but yet when it comes to the people who are directly affecting their lives, they can't fucking say a word. They want to keep listening to their bullshit music. They want to act like everything's so bad, like everything is just wrong and evil and everything's racist. These people are some of the most ungrateful assholes I've ever come across. Happy 4th of July from California. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate it. These are some of the most ungrateful. There is a Jamaican saying, and my wife, Kareen, I love her. Thank you, baby, for this. She gives me these sayings sometimes. She's originally Jamaican, and honestly, I think it's fitting. Ungratefulness. Ingratitude, ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. It's true. I would honestly say ungratefulness is witchcraft. If I really think about it, think about it for a second. You're so ungrateful to a country where you can say whatever you want, right? Free speech. You can say whatever you want. You can criticize the government. You can criticize the government, and yet you still see the United States of America as one of the most oppressive places on earth. That's that demiurgic spirit where you think God is the bad one here, is the bad guy in all of this. It's demonic. It really is. It's demonic. Because, see, you'll still live in the United States. You won't move. You won't move. You won't leave. And even the people who hate this country the most, even after they're kicked out, even after they're deported, arrested, they still try to come back. Mahmoud Khalil. Yeah, looking at you, bitch. You got Zohran Mamdani. I might play a little bit of that abominable speech. These people come into our country and they have the audacity to tell people how to live. Ungrateful beasts who think that they know better than us, who want to replace us. They do want to replace Americans. That's why that's why the Biden administration allowed 15 to 20 million illegals to come up from the southern border. MTM Cast says they are ungrateful because they don't know any better. We take our country for granted. Yes, we do. We do indeed take our country for granted. That is, my God. Like truer words were never spoken. My God. Yeah, man. Let me just throw this YouTube link. This is one thing to have folks put that out here for those of you who want to join us on YouTube. Matter of fact, I will play Zohran's speech. The mayor of New York City. I don't know how the fuck this guy got here. I don't. I consider Zohran's presence as mayor of New York City. I consider it an affront to this country, actually. I do. I consider it an affront. Because here's the thing, right? This fucking 33-year-old Indian by way of Uganda sitting in a dark room in Gracie Mansion with a bunch of entitled fucking animals, third world animals, with the audacity to lecture, sitting at a desk backwards, with the audacity to tell us what an American is. Let me just make sure this is on here. Good, it's up. It's up. Here we go. I want y'all to hear this.
There is a term so often used to describe our nation and those who have shaped it: American exceptionalism. American exceptionalism, the conventional wisdom tells us, makes our freedom a little more free, is how we dug the Erie Canal and irrigated the West, is why children in faraway lands grow up dreaming of one day moving here. And yet the irony is that the story of America has so often been written by those who were told by others with power and influence and wealth that they were anything but exceptional. For generations,
this is bullshit. This is, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to inform you of is that this is spellbinding. The one thing, if you get nothing else from me, folks, what you must understand is that the communist is a sorcerer first. The communist is a sorcerer first. They use words and big words and sweeping phrases to manipulate people into doing exactly what they want. You must understand this.
after generation, we have been told that when the world has sent its people to our shores of America, has so often been written by those who were told by others with power and influence and wealth that they were anything but exceptional.
Power and influence and wealth. Power and influence and wealth. You know what? Stand by real quick. I want to grab something real quick. Okay, I'm back. What I have right here is the Communist Manifesto. Yes, I own a copy. I own a copy. You should too, because it's important for you to understand what your enemies say and what your enemies think. The very first words. The very first words of this abomination. In chapter 1 of the Communist Manifesto, yeah, we're you know what? Yes, along with our founding documents, we're going to read some of the words of your enemies, folks. Karl Marx says in the chapter 1 of the Communist Manifesto entitled Bourgeois and Proletarians, quoting, "The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guild master and journeyman, in a word, oppressor and oppressed, stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on an uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight, a fight that each time ended either in a revolutionary reconstitution of society at large or in the common ruin of the contending classes." Now, I'm going to go back to what the animal says here, okay?
Wisdom tells us, makes our freedom a little more free, is how we dug the Erie Canal and irrigated the West, is why children in faraway lands grow up dreaming of one day moving here.
Here it comes.
And yet the irony is that the story of America has so often been written by those who were told by others with power and influence and wealth that they were anything but exceptional.
That's it right there. That's it right there. These fuckers always start with the story of oppressed and oppressor. We're the oppressed masses. We're the oppressed brown masses. And we must be given power we must be given power to make things right in the world. We must be given the power to revolutionize, to bring revolution to your oppressive country. That's the real reason why they want to stay. They want to kill you. They want to hurt you. They want to completely reorder society in ways that benefit them and nobody else. Continuing.
For generation after generation, we have been told that when the world has sent its people to our shores, it has not sent its best. It sent Puritans and Sikhs and Quakers and Muslims and Jewish people who were banished for praying the wrong way, worshiping the wrong gods, angering the wrong people.
Communism marries truth to lies, folks. You must understand this.
It sent peasants and serfs from slums and shtetls who were treated as less because they hardly owned clothes, let alone land.
Peasants and serfs. Again with this fucking language, again with this language of the communists. This 19th century dog shit that explains something that happened over 100 years prior. It's always them, folks. It's always them.
It sent immigrants from whom power was something someone else had. We are told that America is exceptional because we are richer, stronger, more powerful than everyone else. The truth, my friends, is that America is exceptional because here, nothing is fixed into place.
Nothing is fixed into place, huh? Nothing is fixed into place. I told you, spellcraft. This is spellcraft. The dead eyes of the paleo communists before you, folks. Telling you, sitting behind George Washington's desk backwards, is telling you that nothing is fixed into place. He's telling you that we're here now. And we can take over. You let us in. This is the wolf telling you. You've let us in, and now we're going to take over.
The frontier may be closed. We may have walked on the moon. But the work of fulfilling the values first enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, that work endures. And it belongs to us all. It belongs to our newest Americans.
The dupers,
those standing here with me today,
bitch.
All of whom were recently naturalized. Nearly a decade ago, I too felt what you feel. The joy of no longer being just a New Yorker, but an American too. You each hold a special power. The power to determine what America means. The powerful have always known their answer. America, in their view, is an arena of supremacy, where only a select few are allowed freedom, where not all are created equal.
Please understand, folks, that this is the language of the communists. Everything these people say is projection. Everything they say is projection. A select few, they want to be the select few. That's how it is in every communist country. Every single communist society, every single communist regime that has ever existed is a place where there is a select few people at the top. And everyone else lives dirt poor. Everyone else lives under the oppression of the state. They are far less subtle about it. And they talk about capitalists and capitalist societies. First off, capitalism is a word they invented. They talk about regular, normal societies. They talk about America like it's so oppressive here because certain people don't make it like others. Okay. So let's go ahead and change the world. Let's go ahead and reorder society into one where nobody makes it. Except the ones at the top. Except the ones who serve the God of the state. Is this what you want for yourselves, folks? Is this what you want for this country? You have so many. There are so many examples. We have Venezuela, who, when Hugo Chavez came, he promised everything free. He promised utopia. And what ended up happening? Hyperinflation and mass hyperinflation, murder and starvation by the government, and mass flight from that country. Venezuela went from being one of the richest, the richest country in South America, to one of the poorest. Cuba, for all these fucking twinks down in Bushwick, these white fucking twinks down in Bushwick, Brooklyn, you know, in their little Che Guevara shirts, all the ones who think that communism is just so cool. First off, Che would have thrown you all off of a fucking roof. Che Guevara was a murderous racist and a murderous homophobe. When Che and then Castro after him imprisoned Cuba into communism, same thing. And then Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a first-generation Cuban American, recently revealed that Cuba's been run, that the government of Cuba is actually a corporation called GAESA, Gaesa. They are the state in Cuba. The military carries out all of their imprisonments, all their killings. If you speak against the state, if you speak out against the Castros, Fidel's been dead for years. Raul is in his 90s, and whoever this guy is has been president. I forget his name. But if you speak out against the regime, you can still die. You can still get thrown into prison for years and years. Every single communist regime has set it up so that the rich, the ones in government, become the rich. There are no businesses, because even the businesses get subsumed by the state. Hitler was a socialist, a national socialist, a Nazi, if you will. This guy, this guy nationalized, because, you know, everybody talks about, you know, the Holocaust and the Jews and all that, right? This guy, all of your favorite German car brands, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, who used to build helicopters, all of those brands, he nationalized all of those brands. Mercedes-Benz, like that was his personal transport, if I remember correctly. Volkswagen, the people's car. The Beetle, the coffer. Like, he nationalized business. That's what these people do. That's what communism does. Hitler admitted that even though he did not like the communists, he felt like he understood Marx better. He said so in Mein Kampf. He believed that he understood communism, he understood Marxism better, and he was going to carry out Marxism better than anybody else. He said this. He wrote that in Mein Kampf. So for any of these twinks and troons and DSA members and all these other people who think that they know so much about it, they call anybody who does not agree with them a Nazi, please understand, folks, they're the Nazis. Zoran is a Nazi. A national, let me guess, a Detsy, a Dotsy. What do you want to call him? Because he's a democratic socialist, right? Like that's supposed to make his fucking ideology any less murderous. La Petite Diva says, I don't understand how anyone can be fooled by Mamdani and his painfully fake smile, but here we are. I've been wondering that very thing for months now. And Marie Isabella, I love you. Thank you so much for coming by. Just coming by to listen for a bit. Happy Independence Day, guy. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And also, MTMCast says, politics has become so cutthroat and dirty that good people can't win. You're right. Ask Spencer Pratt how that went for him. That machine over in California, that's a bad one, man. That's a bad one. Earlier, MTMcast says Zoloft scammed Donnie. That's good. Grew up in expat 1%, colonized Africa with the rich kids at private schools. This nigga went to Bronx Science, bro. He went to Bronx Science. Like, we're talking, Bronx Science is one of the best schools in New York City. He went to big time universities. He lied. He tried to say he was an African American and lied to get into Columbia and couldn't get in. This is a 34-year-old, and this is a 34-year-old boy who has never built anything. He has never managed anything in his life. The very first real job that this guy had is as mayor of New York City. That's how entitled these people are. People should just vote for him. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. He was a state assemblyman where, he just, he didn't even write me bills. He didn't even write me bills. La Petite Diva writes, what you're seeing now in New York and other states didn't happen overnight. It was the result of strategic moves whose real intentions were disguised with social justice speak. Absolutely. That's what we've been soaked in. But I'm really getting off topic. Ladies and gentlemen, super chats are currently available. We are. I hate to be a bugaboo about this, but we're trying to get a car, trying to get a few things together for the show. We appreciate you. If you feel so inclined, if you feel that we have earned something, please make sure that you do so in the form of super chats and other places where you can support us financially. I do appreciate it. This guy pisses me off, man. He really does. And all this spellcraft shit. Here let's give some more.
America, if you ask them, becomes less the more people it welcomes. America, they will tell you, belongs only to those with the right accent or the right shade of skin. The rest of us, they insist, should be grateful for merely being allowed to visit. how small they are, how weak.
Fuck you. How about that, Zoran? Fuck you. Because there are plenty of people in this country who do not share the same white skin, right? The same people who come over here who are grateful to be here, who are grateful to have served this country. Yes, Haitians. There are some Haitians who do so. There are some Cubans. There are people of other skin tones who come here and serve. Hung Cao, who escaped communism, Vietnamese. There are Colin Powell, the late Colin Powell, was of Jamaican descent. There are patriots that have come from other countries. You, sir, are a communist interloper. People do not hate you because of your skin, you asshole. People hate you because you are a fucking communist. They hate you because you have taken on an ideology that has killed over 100 million people throughout the 20th century. That's why.
How unoriginal. At every moment in our past.
Unoriginal, coming from a guy who has adopted the religion of Marx.
Those who led through exclusion and isolation have tried to win power and enrich themselves by turning us against one another. Division is the oldest trick in politics and the cheapest.
Yeah, that's how you were able to win the way you did in New York City. You pitted white liberal, white leftist transplants in white leftist gentrifiers, Midwestern transplants came in and decided they knew more than everyone else, decided to lord their authority and their chops and their credentials over normal working class and middle class people here within the 5 boroughs. That's what happened. That's why all of your DSA rallies that happen in New York, that take place in New York City, are all white. The Democratic Socialists of America, as of 2021 numbers, is 85% white. Those numbers have only gone up since then. With one common goal: destroy America. Exactly. Diversity, inclusion, decolonization, white power structures, defund the police, Western imperialism, etc. I love that. I love when they talk about Western imperialism because, motherfucker, that y'all paid for it. Europe, I said it earlier, Europe paid for the Western imperialism. They wouldn't have been able to fund their endless social programs were it not for us being the world's police. We forgot about that. You know what? I'm over it with this. I'm over it with this fucker. I can't read anymore. I can't stomach any more of this. I can't. This is the enemy. Like communists are the enemies of our souls, folks. They're the enemies of our souls. But you know what? There is one guy, I am going to say it. There is one man who is, and the fact that it's Trump fighting for this country. When so many of you will sit up and denigrate this man, I did it for years. I denigrated Trump myself. I talked shit about this man. I hated him. And so many people that I know want him gone. They hate him. They talk about him like he's a dog, like he's the most evil person on planet Earth. But never in my life. Ronald Reagan said that it's one thing to know communism, it's another thing to understand it. Trump understands communism better than anyone else, better than most. Now I'm gonna let this play through. Watch.
Yet as we approach this magnificent anniversary, we see our American identity under a renewed attack. A generation after we fought and won the Cold War against the menace of communism, there is now a resurgence of the communist menace in our land, including from newcomers to our country who embrace ideas totally opposed to our way of life and our great success. These are not mere political disagreements like differences over taxes or regulations. Communism is a mortal threat to American liberty. It is the greatest threat to our country, including World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or even 9/11. We're not going to let this happen to us. Believe me, we're not letting it happen. Because communism is the enemy of free people everywhere in the world. Never works. It's the enemy of the Constitution. Above all, it's the enemy of July 4th, 1776. It is the enemy indeed. Even while the radicals and extremists attack our incredible history at every turn, they are silent on the miserable history of communism itself because it never worked. Thousands of years, if you look at it, under different names, under somewhat different ideologies and systems, that system has led to more death and destruction than any system ever tried. It killed 100 million people just in the last century alone. Communism is the exact opposite of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's death, tyranny, and the pursuit of evil. The godless communist morality states that anything is justified to bring about inhuman visions and to really propose what's good. They don't want good. They don't love God, and they don't want God. They don't love religion, and they don't want religion, and they won't have it.
Because the only religion, ladies and gentlemen, the only religion that is allowed to a communist is the state. The state is God. The state. I hate to stop the president there, but I want to read the state quote. Okay? Because this is and see, here's the thing about Mussolini. Here's the thing about Mussolini, right? Mussolini was a Marxist too. Mussolini was a Marxist. Fascism is the marriage of corporations and the state to oppress the people. That's what fascism is. There is nothing right-wing about fascism. Anyone who says that fascism is right-wing is a fucking liar. The only God that is allowed to the communists is the state. Benito Mussolini. All within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. All within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. The only God you're allowed to worship is the state, the government, the bureaucrat who can end your life with the push of some paper and the stroke of a pen. That is, I'll just keep letting the president talk.
We will not let them win. They have no chance against us. They have no respect for law, justice, principle, tradition, or your God-given rights. It's an ideology of mass theft, mass control, mass lies, and mass murder. Such doctrines can be given no quarter in a democracy.
I'm going to repeat that.
given rights. It's an ideology of mass theft, mass control, mass lies, and mass murder.
Mass theft, mass lies, mass control, mass murder. That's how 100 million people end up dead. 100 million people were put in the dirt in the 20th century because of centralized power and centralized control. The World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the British Crown, all of these people had one goal. And they imagine this, one world government. They were trying to build a one world government. They still are. Please understand, they still are. These people are building a one world government. MTM Cast writes again, it's so funny that people think we worship Trump. We love the preservation of our rights and to liberty and God. Yes. And I'll be reading the Bill of Rights in a little bit. I'm going to read the Declaration of Independence next, but I wanted to let this play through because I wanted y'all to understand that this man, Donald J. Trump, I never thought I respect him more and more, but I especially respect him now because he really is the only person on the right who understands. Well, I won't say he's the only person because there are others, but in terms of elected officials, he is the only one he is the only Republican who understands exactly what we're up against. And if it wasn't for the fact that we've got that Republicans, that the corporate Republicans, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The corporate Republicans are working against that man. I hope we're clear on this, folks. The corporate Republican Party is working directly against the President of the United States. Why do you think Karine, my wife, I reference her a lot. One of the things that my wife has complained about, and others have that are native New Yorkers, or were brought here as children. Well, one thing that my wife has brought up is that in New York, there really haven't been much in terms of good choices available. Good Republican choices that are, like alternatives to the people who, the same machine, who different cogs in the machine, in the Democrat machine, right? And this is true. This is absolutely true. Because the Republican Party has basically divested from New York. I mean, they've almost completely divested from New York City. Jesus Christ. I think of poor Vicky Palladino. Poor Vicky. I mean, in New York City Council, nearly every single member of New York City Council is either a Democrat or a DSA member posing as one. Yeah. Or they're on like the Working Families Party or some shit. New York State is basically one party rule. It's like what a lot of people do not understand is that New York State, if you go upstate or even outside of the boroughs, conservatives live out there. I live in Westchester County. There are conservatives out here. There are far more, but the population density and inertial voting, people just vote Democrat out of inertia in the boroughs. And then they drive down voter turnout, and that makes it worse. There was 7% turnout in this recent election. 7% of registered voters in New York City actually participated. And will you hear anybody complain about that? No, because the people they wanted to win got in. That's why you ain't hearing nothing. You're not hearing these people talk about, oh my God, there was such low turnout. They don't want people to turn out. But Trump is the only one who understands this stuff.
Such doctrines can be given no quarter in a democracy, because the first thing they do when they get into power is turn around and destroy it. It always is destroyed, just as communists have done in other countries all over the world, no matter where you look. Very simply, communism represents the worst ideas and abuses in history by the worst people. The American founding represents the best ideas and traditions in history by the best people like you. You can be loyal to Karl Marx, or you can be loyal to America. You can be a communist, or you can be a patriot. You cannot be both. As for those who peddle Marxist lies about our heritage,
you can be loyal to Karl Marx,
or you can be loyal to America. You can be loyal to Karl Marx, or you can be loyal to America. You can be a communist, or you can be a patriot. You cannot be both. As for those...
Amen. Amen to that. You can be loyal to Karl Marx, or you can be loyal to the United States of America. You cannot be both. You cannot be both. You can't. No man can serve two masters. The Bible makes that perfectly clear. You cannot serve God and Satan. You cannot serve, either you will love the one and hate the other. I mean, those are the words of Jesus Christ right there. The Son of God himself said that no man can serve two masters. That's why I crack up whenever I always crack up when I hear, people say, oh, well, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Bitch, no, you can't. Bitch, no, you can't. No, you cannot serve two masters. You cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. It's a biological impossibility. Trust me, I tried. You can't do it. And the fact that people still use that shit, it's just incredible. One party said, yeah. California, same thing. And this fucking guy right here, Trump is my favorite. Fuck off. You're out of here. Not tolerating that. I refuse to tolerate that foolishness. Trump is a pedophile. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me move on. Let me move on to the next thing, because I said this was going to be a reading of some of our founding documents, and I have been ranting about communism and presenting exactly what we're up against. But you know what? I think it's fine. This is what we're up against. This is who we are battling against. This is who is the enemy of our souls right here. But this isn't. In Congress, July 4th, yeah, there you go. July 4th, 1776. Presenting, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the Declaration of Independence. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. From the consent of the governed. Happy 4th, relax, great to see you. Deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government, becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to effect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. This reads almost like King Charles III were the king of England back then. 1776, hey, 2026. Harry Novak. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. Doesn't that sound a lot like your mayors and governors of blue states, ladies and gentlemen? He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he is utterly neglected to attend to them. That is why your cities look like shit. This is why your roads and your bridges are falling apart, ladies and gentlemen. Your roads and bridges are falling apart. You are paying taxes that are increasing more and more every day. You have in the state of Maryland, in my home state, the state of Maryland right now, it costs almost $400. $400 almost to register your vehicle for 2 years. The government of Maryland know that that people cannot afford even to register their vehicles. So what do? They have people on payment plans. That's what they do. This is what they're dealing with down there, folks. Payment plans to register your car. The Key Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. How fitting is that? A bridge that was built in the 1970s, named after the very author of the national anthem, was hit by a barge about 4 years ago, and they still, was it 4 years ago? Let me make sure I have that correct. When was the Francis? 2 years ago, I'm sorry. Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. So we're going on now. So we're over 2 years after the very collapse of the bridge in Baltimore that bore that bore the name of the author of the national anthem. And there's still no bridge. Your black mayor, Wes Moore, last minute decided to back out of a deal because he said, it's too expensive. That's identity politics, folks. You vote with your skin color first, and you end up with a mayor and a governor that hate you and create more traffic and don't want to build a bridge. MTM Cast for $19.99. Thank you, my dear. I wanted to do 1776, my favorite Patriot, but let's party like it's $19.99. Thank you, my love, for that. I really appreciate that. You're a great. You are, as Sean Hannity says sometimes, you are a great American. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Please tell your friends about Apostate Radio. We're taking a bit of a break in July because we got to retool. We got to retool some things. My wife is having surgery next week. This upcoming week, so I'll be taking care of her a little bit. Also got some things for work that are taking place. I just recently got promoted, so there's a lot going on, and I need to just take a little bit of time. And also, we have several events that are happening later in the month. I'll be telling you about those soon. But yes, please tell your friends about Apostate Radio. We'll have back episodes that will be dropping. I'll make sure that we have like some clips and all that kind of stuff for you, for our subscribers to watch. Well, let me continue here, because there's so much here. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people. unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. In other words, when you have large groups of people, when you have entire neighborhoods that have been dealing with high crime and theft and all sorts of stuff, you know, these people have no problem with sharing their preference for the interlopers, for the criminals. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time, after such disillusions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise. The state remaining, in the meantime, exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither. Whoa! And raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. Ladies and gentlemen, he has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. Ladies and gentlemen, the king was doing illegal migration even back then, using population as a weapon even back then. Incredible. See, this is what happens when you read the context. This is what happens. Let me see. Real quick. Spencer Pratt wrote, "The communist." This is the part that you all have to understand. The communist must always destroy your history. History is what attaches you to something. Memories make a home. The communist attacks your history to unmoor you from your home so you won't fight him when he demolishes it and renovates it in his image. Spencer Pratt is a fucking patriot. A patriot. An absolute patriot. Chris Olin for 1776. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it, man. USA. I had to rep the set today, actually. See? I love this. Honestly, I think this is the best. I think this is the best kit that US Soccer Federation have put out. I like this is their home kit. I've been trying to get a hold of their away kit, but they ran out of them. They ran out of the ones in my size. They ran out of this. This was one of like the I got this 3X, but they ran. I have to actually get Karine one. Karine wants one. I have to get her one. I got her a Jamaica kit, a Jamaican Federation kit. It's actually pretty cool. Great to see you again. Relax. Really appreciate you, man. Really, really appreciate you being here. There's so much. This is a long list, but you know what? I'm gonna power through it, man. I'm power through it. Let's see. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. You know how Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, always talks about how it's the judges? Here it is right here in the Declaration of Independence itself. Establishing judiciary powers. You know why you have, you ever wonder why? You ever wonder why? Hold on, let me bring that back up. Oh, not this one. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself here. You ever wonder why you have these, like every other week, it's a fucking judge trying to tell trying to tell Trump that he can't do this, or you can't clean the reflecting pool. You can't do this. You can't deport criminals, criminal illegal aliens. You can't do this. You can't do that. That's what that is. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude. This is an interesting one. He has erected, this is what King George III was doing back in the 1700s, folks. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. Didn't Zoran appoint some, like whatever Democrats love doing this shit. Like Zoran in particular loves doing this shit where he just invents all these new departments, all these new offices that no one had ever heard of. You put this gigantic, you put this troon above the head of the Office of LGBTQI affairs. That's what that is right there. You have to see the parallels, folks. You have to understand what exactly we're dealing with. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. If you ever wonder why the armed forces of the United States are put under civilian control, this is why. The President of the United States is a civilian. He is the commander-in-chief of our armed forces, but he is a civilian first. He is elected by the people. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation. The United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Interpol, the European Union, the EU. That's what that is. That's what that is right here. 21st century America, folks. The UN, the Sustainable Development Goals, Bill Gates. For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. That's what China did. China's had so many foreign China was operating. I don't know if they're still doing this. They probably are. The CCP was operating their own police forces in all the Chinese neighborhoods in New York City. Chinatown in Manhattan, out in Flushing. I don't know if there were any in Brooklyn, in like the Bensonhurst area in Brooklyn, Borough Park. Borough Park's a Jewish, but like in Midwood and all like around the West End line and the Sea Beach lines in Brooklyn. I don't know, but the CCP have had offices here, have had offices in New York for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases the benefit of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for instituting the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny, already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Glory to God for these men. By their sacrifices are we free. We are the inheritor. We are the inheritors of a great, great blessing, ladies and gentlemen. This is our country. This is the republic that we are tasked with keeping. When you let these communist animals, when you let these filthy fucking communists, these globalists, when you let these people in the door, when you reward them and their alternate way, their other ways of knowing, when you reward them with placing them above you, when you reward them with by electing them to office, you are given your just reward, which is a brown Muslim elected to to America's largest city, to lead America's largest city 25 years after Muslims destroyed the Twin Towers in 9/11. We have forgotten what this is. We have forgotten ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. You fellow Americans, we have forgotten ourselves. We have forgotten our raising. We have forgotten what exactly we have. We have sinned before God. We have sinned against ourselves. And this is what we must repent of right here and right now. Finally, last thing that I'm going to read, because the Declaration, it's one thing to read through the Declaration of Independence. It's one thing to understand it, but it's another thing to actually read through it. It's crazy. Let me see here, because I'm looking for it right now. Ooh, excuse me. Because you have to understand what this country is. Excuse me. Pardon me. Do I read the comments? Yes, I do read the comments, Warren. How are you, sir? Welcome in. Welcome in. I do read the comments. If you, I got to look in there. And Warren McCommon, happy Independence Day, Isaiah. God bless you, Warren. And I mean that. My Persian brother, God bless you. God bless the people of Iran. I love y'all, and I really I pray for your liberation from those bastards in the IRGC. I can't wait for the Monday Spain versus Portugal game. That'll be interesting. The battle, the Iberian, the battle for Iberia. The Iberian Peninsula is on the is up for the taking. Nah, Warren, I love you, man. You're incredible, bro. I really thank you. I do read the comments. Please tell your friends. I'm almost done. I'm gonna read through the Bill of Rights here. Really appreciative of all of the of every of all the love here and everything else. I'll have to look at this. MJ Truth Ultra just put something together here. I'll link to it. I'll link to it here. It looks like it's a pretty good thing here. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, just wanted to make sure it doesn't look like I missed anything. Okay, MTM Cast says again, resentment is envy, dependence is sloth, false idols equals communism. Amen. Amen. All right, here we go. Because it's one thing, you keep talking of there are two of the most overused. Matter of fact, you know what? Before I get into that, I'm going to take a quick break. I have to get my throat together. So bear with me 1 second while I just see if that's. Is this a criminal charge of? That's not it. That's not the one. That's not the one I want.
I fought for this country.
That's not it either. Did I erase it? Oh shoot! I might have erased it. Oh God, I didn't want to erase it. Damn it. Actually, I know what I'm gonna play. Because you have to understand, because I'm gonna take a quick break, but I want for you to understand exactly who the enemy. I've been saying this all morning. You have to understand who these people are. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Enjoy another song by Logan Lansing about toy soldiers.
They raided a church service, take the flamethrower, aim it and burn vermin. I have to abdicate my worst urges and purge my anger like a nerve surgeon in the third person. Leftists are upset, go figure. Possessed by demons and old fixtures, workers of the world unite. They feel it in their bones, blisters and stone slippers. So trigger with their fingers in the nose digging until the dome splinters, they're so bitter. Bang! Okay, snap out of it. Understand what happened, but don't back down again. They planned that attack, chose the target to get a reaction you won't get far with. They had professional cameras and Don mic'd up, shooting the action as the bombs fly down and the psalms fly shut. The dust settles and they're screaming banzai rush, while the audience pays in online blood. But the flock didn't buy it, didn't side with the violent. The ones online crying about how they would have stomped on Don and his fine friends. The left wants you emotional like them, easily manipulated like them, easily instigated right when the mic drops, the fight ends. Bent out of shape because a few leftists stole your vision and made the light bend in the bright red. I know we wanna fight back, wanna fall for the lie and tie brass around our knuckles with a left hook and a right jab. Let the sand fly with the nice gash and an eye black, but that is stepping onto their stage, onto their play, where you wear a comical face, becoming a very scary, ominous gaze that the audience at home sees flocking to flame. You're supposed to be angry, racist, Christians, bigots with ancient sacred systems on a mission to take your faith and myth and frame it in a way to make you the Richmond, North of Richmond. But we can't reject it, reject the frame and press them, stretch their patience, let their cadence reflect their hatred as we protect our faith and bless the nation as the audience weighs in, letting everyone see the left is where the blame is. But the flock didn't buy it, didn't side with the violent. The ones online crying about how they would have stomped on Don and his fine friends. The left wants you emotional like them, easily manipulated like them, easily instigated right when the mic drops, the fight ends. Bent out of shape because a few leftists stole your vision and made the light bend.
Logan Lansing, the king. I got it, Logan. If you watch this, dude, you got to come back. You have to come back. We got to talk about your album. the invitation is wide open, sir. Wide open for that. Thank you for your patience. Had to get a little water. Had to rep the set a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's mandatory. Absolutely mandatory. So let's talk about this for a sec. Two of the most overused phrases in America in 2026 are insert deserved, right? Insert group deserves, like New Yorkers deserve, right? They love they love that phrase. The left loves that phrase. New Yorkers deserve. Marylanders deserve. Who the fuck are you? Are you the one like dictating what people want? When's the last time you talked to people? When's the last time you're actually, like when do these people actually talk to any of their constituents? They just merely say, well, we deserve this, so give it to us. And then the other thing that I love, that again, I love when the left talks like this. They love the other phrase of, well, we have the right to, and they'll just name some arbitrary fuck shit. Some arbitrary weird shit that, I have the, like you see this a lot during Pride where, they'll just say, well, we have the right to exist. And so existing means, prancing around naked in a children's playground with kids in it, right? They love that shit. I have the right to be a complete and total asshole, and everybody else has to, I have the right to be a pedestalized corporate mascot for 30 days, and everybody has to acquiesce to my demands. That's Pride Month these days, woke Ramadan. These people really believe rights are like candy that you can just hand out to anybody. And as such, as is fitting, these people believe that government is for that government is for coercion, such that whatever the government says your rights are, that's it. Governments, globalists, MTMK, the globalists give me indigestion too. They are doing the exact same playbook they did with Iran in 1979. Yes, indeed. They love the term deserving, right? But here's the one thing that most Americans in 2026 do not understand at all. Your rights were given to you by God. Your rights, your inalienable rights, were given to you by God, the creator of the world, the one to whom we all must give an account on the last day. Jesus, I sound like my father right then and there. Oof. We all are given these inalienable rights by a creator, by our creator, the Lord above. And this is the one thing that separates us from every other nation on the planet. Every other nation that has ever existed. The founders understood that there are things that the Lord above has provided for us, that we are not meant to live under the boot of someone with a crown on their fucking head. That we are meant for far more than living under that God wants more for his people than to live under the boot of some man who put a crown on his own head and says, "You must do as I say." We were meant for much more than that. We are children of the King. We are children of the Most High. And as such, the Bill of Rights, which were put together, I forget when they were written exactly. It'll say so in this transcription. 1791, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. I'm reading this. I'm reading this because, again, we forget. But the Bill of Rights, when people talk about rights, they say rights are not pie. Shut up. The Bill of Rights is not so much what a statement of the rights that you as an American have. They are a statement of rights that the government, they are stoppages. The Bill of Rights are the affirmation of the fact that of the government, they are stoppages of what the government can do to you. Is what I meant to say. It is a statement of things that the government is not allowed to do to you. That's how it's written. For starters, the U.S. Bill of Rights. The following text is a transcription of the first 10 amendments to the Constitution in their original form. These amendments were ratified on December 15th of 1791 and form what is known as the Bill of Rights. Amendment 1. Make this nice and big here. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment or of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Negative government right. That's exactly right. Congress shall make no law. I'm going to repeat that. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Let me explain to you in the last 6 years how the First Amendment was violated. Every time when the Biden auto pen administration got your Twitter account snatched for speaking out against the COVID vaccine, when they got your account taken, and when you were debanked and deplatformed for speaking out against the transgender cult, right? Hate speech. See, this is what I believe. When it says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or this is in my opinion is the first salvo against totalitarianism, because I firmly believe that the founders understood that communism is a cult of the state. It is a cult of government. They had just gotten out from under the thumb of the King of fucking England. And as we know, as has been the pattern in totalitarian regimes, in oppressive monarchies spanning millennia, the government is the religion. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Whenever you hear people talk, whenever you hear Democrats talk, when you heard these masked freaks back in 2021 and 22 talking about trust the science, when Fauci was when Anthony Fauci was like the high priest of the science, that was the government establishing a religion. Transgenderism was the establishment of holy and the holiest beasts within the pantheon. They were the highest. They were the seraphim. If you want to draw a comparison, they were the seraphim to the establishment, to the church of the state. They abridged the freedom of speech. Democrats there were so many instances of Democrats looking right in the faces of Christians and telling them, or even other people of other religions. During COVID, they flat out said, your religious exercise means nothing. Because the greater good is eradicating COVID. You don't want to get people sick, do you? This is why people still treat getting COVID like a moral failing. Because when the state is God, when the state is the religion, of course catching an illness. Why wouldn't catching an illness be considered a moral failing? You got grandma sick. You didn't wear a mask. You didn't social distance. And now you got grandma sick. You're a bad person. And so now we can deny you certain things like going into a supermarket. We can restrict your travel. We can restrict your free speech. Because when the government is God, you are subordinate to the state. You're subordinate to them. And that's really, in my opinion, what the First Amendment means. The government cannot become the religion. And I actually watched something from Liam Out Loud a few days ago where leftists will never admit it. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. I really want to see. Hold on. Because he came out with something. Here we go. Oh, wait. Did he? No, they didn't. No, he didn't post it here. At least I don't think he did. He posted it on his Substack. Damn it. It must have been on his Instagram. I'll have to find it. But anywho, I'll have to find that. But anyways, Second Amendment. The Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. The Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. There is a man sitting in a New York jail right now, in a New York prison right now, for building his own guns. A black man who was put in prison for building his own guns. He was a hobbyist. He was building his own guns. and was told by a judge in this state, and mind you, he's in jail, he's sitting in jail, he was sentenced to over 10 years. He was told by the judge that the Second Amendment does not apply here. It's always the judges, folks. The one thing that you must understand about communists, the one thing you must understand about totalitarians is that they fear death. They fear their own death and the death of their movements more than anything else. They fear the ending of their power. They fear that they fear everything coming to an end and finally coming to being held to account for their own crimes. These people, these totalitarian regimes are built off of the monopolization of the use of force, monopolization of violence. The Second Amendment is a statement that the government cannot go in and take your guns. You have the absolute right by God to defend yourself against tyranny. It is your duty. Yeah, Chris. The Second Amendment doesn't apply in my courtroom. That's exactly what that judge said. Yeah. You have the right under God to defend yourself from tyranny. And anybody who would tell you differently would happily take your guns, would happily take your ability to defend yourself, and then turn right around and take you out. This is what you must understand about these types of people. Shall not be infringed. The government cannot go in and tell you that you cannot defend yourself. The United Kingdom could benefit from that, right? The people of the UK could benefit from that right now. I don't think people understand how important this is. Self-defense. I know I'm going to go off on it. I'm trying not to go off on a tangent. I've already gone longer than I wanted to. The right to self-defense. The reason why the left does not want you to defend yourself is because you cannot, an individual cannot be seen defending themselves from the government. The government must be seen as the only ones who can defend sovereignty. Of course, they're defending their own sovereignty, but that's besides the point. The reason why they wanted to put Daniel Penny in prison for saving the lives of those passengers by restraining Jordan Neely is because they wanted to set an example. They wanted, it was a demoralization tactic that basically that pretty much worked. People were told right then and there that if you defend yourselves, if you defend your own life or the lives of others from one of the people who we set over you as priority, then you're going to then we're going to hurt you. You're going to go to jail. It's okay, babe. You must defend yourself from tyranny. The founders understood that. The founders understood that God himself ordained that you must defend yourself from tyranny. whether that be tyranny of the tyranny of the majority by way of democracy, or tyranny of the minority by communism. That's what we're up against. Des Poetic said, you're doing great, brother. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. He said, I have the same name as my dad. I am the second. Neither of us have had any traffic violations, yet he received a text from the court saying, oops, he just figured out. Oh. Well then. Baby Boo 5233. Amen, Isaiah. Thank you, dear. Appreciate you. Was the scammer the government? Because they're good at that. Oh my God. All right, let's keep going. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. In other words, the government can't put military people in your house. Just arbitrarily say, oh, we're gonna put these people in. We're gonna put these soldiers in here, and basically, if you do anything, if you F around, you're gonna find out with these guys. That's basically what that is. That's honestly, that's Stasi shit right there. If we're gonna look at like 20th century equivalents to this would basically be like, yeah, like I don't know. I think that I'd have to think on that a little bit more. This right here, Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the things or persons or things to be seized. You cannot go up in people's homes without a warrant. Okay? You cannot just storm the gates of people's houses without a court order. This is a very, very important thing. And unfortunately, this is being abused by the left. It's being intentionally misinterpreted by the left, because when it comes to illegal immigration, okay, illegal immigrants violate the law upon entering this country illegally. They violate the law, and therefore the Fourth Amendment, because they love talking about, well, the Fourth Amendment, you have to come in here with a warrant. Do you have a warrant? They love throwing that shit around. You talk about we're going to abolish it. No, fuck you. These people are not supposed to be here. They got to go. This isn't about the Fourth Amendment. They are literally, the left in this country have made, the biggest reason why they're a threat to this country is because they make people fucking retarded. Which is why we have to read through the Bill of Rights in places like this. Ooh, excuse me. Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. This is double. So in other words, if you were acquitted of a crime, you cannot be retried for the same crime if found not guilty. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. In other words, eminent domain is a violation of the Fifth Amendment. Eminent domain is a violation of the Fifth Amendment. Unless, and also you can, I mean, the larger thing that people use the Fifth Amendment for is they invoke the Fifth Amendment to keep from incriminating themselves. Okay, which is absolutely what they should do. But eminent domain, again, is, in my opinion at least, a violation of the Fifth Amendment here. Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. This is the establishment of our this is the establishment of a trial by jury. If you ever wondered why cancel culture, the reason why cancel culture is such an affront to most Americans, the reason why this hits home for me, because I can't stand the way that crime, but here's, let me slow down for a second. When the new thing that the left likes to do is they start backwards. Okay, they start with the accusation, right? They start with the accusation. They automatically, whenever remember the term "believe all women" and the Me Too era and all that, they always started with the assumption that the allegations were true. They always operated under that assertion, and then they spent the rest of the time trying to find evidence to back up, to actually make the allegations true. They start with the accusation, they assume you're guilty, and then just try to find, all of the things. It is the exact opposite, is the exact reversal of our criminal justice system. The criminal justice system that they love to talk about is so fucking racist. Like, this is what it's about. This is why I was so, like, when Taxiarchis Fountas, my great Greek friend, shout to Ophi Creed, shout to Taxi. I love him. I love his family. Y'all are great people. When Taxi and his wife and their son were put through the ringer by some of DC United's most annoying leftist fan base, they started with the accusation that they started with the automatic assumption that the allegations against him were true, because black people would never lie about racism, right? And so when Major League Soccer dragged their feet on the investigation, when they could not find, even when they knew they had no evidence to support to support the claim that he used racial slurs against Aime Mubika or whatever the fuck his name is. At that point, it didn't matter because the process was the punishment. Dragging out the process was the punishment because at some point you figure, you know what, we don't have anything. We don't have anything on the guy. So we're just going to drag out the process and keep him and just keep him and his family in limbo. We're going to keep letting these people, we're going to let the death threats mount and all the other shit. This is what happened. We're going to let the death threats mount and all that. And then ultimately, well, if he just peters out and then decides, we'll make him leave. If he leaves, which is what unfortunately happened the second set of allegations in 2023, Nigel Roberta, bum ass nigga that he is, decided, he decided to levy a second round of allegations of racism against him, and then ultimately, the DC United and Taxi, they said they mutually terminated the contract, which to me is bullshit. He was ousted from the club. I'm still pissed about that. I have never forgotten about that, and I want justice for that for that young man. Well, thankfully he got some in the form of winning the Greek Cup with Ofi over there at Akleon. Shout to Ofi. They're a great club, big club over there in Greece. But the reason why that was such an affront to me was because there's no fucking due process. There was no due process. There's no trial by jury. The investigation was bullshit. It was dragged out. And what's so crazy is there were two. During the first set of allegations, there were two other investigations that Major League Soccer did that dealt with racial slurs, and they were open and shut cases. They found the evidence, they did what they needed to do, and they were closed in less than a week. But yet Taxis was dragged out. So this is what they'll do, right? When they know they have nothing, and you'll see this, folks, when they know that they have nothing, they'll use terms like credibly accused. The fuck does credibly accused mean? He was credibly accused, so he should still be viewed like he should still be treated as if he did something. Hey, Heliodorus. Morning. Happy birthday, United States. Thank you, sir. God bless this country. God bless the United States. The reason why it was such an affront to me was because it was the violation of the Sixth Amendment. Now, granted, it wasn't this wasn't a federal case or a state or anything like that, but it's the spirit of the law, in my opinion, that made this so offensive to me. That's what made this so offensive to me. It's like you're violating the spirit of the Sixth Amendment. And in another cases, they did it to Trump. Credibly accused of all this, the 34 felonies. He was adjudicated. Like, what the fuck? Adjudicated? He was adjudicated under no. None of that matters. Either he was convicted of crimes or he wasn't. Either you can present evidence of crimes or he didn't. This is how the left have been able to basically fuck with people for the last several years. They can put you through the process with bullshit charges, bullshit allegations, bullshit evidence. And for what? Just so that they can have something to talk about? Fuck these people. That's the Sixth Amendment. And it's how the left have violated it. Amendment 7 In suits at common law, where the value of controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Amendment 8, the 8th Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. So when you hear people talk about when you hear people say, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. The punishment doesn't fit the crime. That's what that's the 8th Amendment. That's what that is. The 8th Amendment says that the punishment must fit the crime. And yes, there are crimes that require heavy penalties. If you rape it, I can't say that. I know YouTube has certain. If you sexually assault a child, you should be put to death. You should receive the death penalty. There are certain crimes for which life in prison is just not enough. If you violate a child, if you violate a woman, if you sexually violate someone, you should be put to death you should receive a life sentence at minimum. But that ain't exactly but like excessive bail, excessive fines, again, that's what this is about. The punishment should fit the crime. And what's crazy is the left. The left just believe in the left is so crazy. They believe in full-blown life sentences. Even if even if you go through their processes, if you go through their drawn out, dragged out legal processes, and you manage to escape conviction, you still should be treated like a fucking criminal. That's what they want. All those those cancel campaigns, they were banking on being able to bar people from holding a job, from getting a career. They don't believe you should ever be able to earn a living. Self-imposed life sentences. These people are evil. But again, this is what the government, the Bill of Rights specifically says, that they are specifically statements of what the government cannot do to you. What you are free from as an American citizen. Continuing, the 9th Amendment. The enumeration of the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Just because it's not in there does not mean that the people don't have it. And then finally, the 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. This, ladies and gentlemen, is your birthright. This is your birthright. This is what you, as an American, this is what you have. This is your heritage. And it is your duty as an American to keep yourself, to defend yourself from the state, from the oppression of the state. It is your duty as an American citizen to liberate yourself from communism. It's already here. It's already on our shores. And now it's our duty to liberate ourselves from it. America will not survive another 250 years unless we as Americans learn how to, unless we understand what our rights are, unless we understand exactly what it is that we're up against and what it is that the government cannot do to us. we're gonna keep having these problems. And so I want to thank y'all for joining me this morning. I know I only wanted to go an hour and a half, but I ended up going 2.5 hours with this. I hope that you all learned something today. The writing is so simple that it is powerfully clear and beautiful. Yes, indeed. I had a lot of fun doing this morning. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do more of this. Maybe I'll read through the other amendments someday. But I want y'all to understand this. Do not be nice to communists. Do not be nice to those who would deprive you of your rights as Americans. Do not be nice to your inferiors who rule over you who want to rule over you and remind you of how supposedly evil this country was. Do not be nice to these people. Do not be nice to the Zoran Mamdanis of the world. Do not be nice, especially do not be nice to the people who fucking elected him. The white Midwestern transplants, the leftists. You must understand, if there is nothing else you come away with this morning, as we go into year 251 and abroad and beyond, you must understand that communism is a pestilence that must be purged from the earth, period, point blank. Mamdani with the Cheshire smile, yep. Thank you, Rufus Shinra. It's a great villain, by the way. I really love if you have unrelated note, Final Fantasy VII, the remake trilogy is, well, it's fantastic. I love it. And Revelation, which is the final game in the trilogy, is coming out next year. It's going to be great. But yes, do not be nice to communists. Do not break for communists. Do not be nice to those who would seek to sully this celebration. We do live in the United States of America. Truly is a city shining on a hill. This is a republic if we can keep it. This is the most free and inclusive place. But we need boundaries. We need boundaries. And the boundaries are, we must stand against totalitarians. You must understand who these communists are. You must understand what it is that they want to do. They want to hurt you. They want to kill you. They want to break your will. They want to break your spirit. And they've already been doing so. The long march through the institutions has been going on since the 1960s and before that. As a country, we must repent of our pride. We must repent of our foolishness. We must repent of the sin of forgetting ourselves, forgetting what we are as Americans. And I pray that we came away with that this morning. I want to thank y'all once again for supporting Apostate Radio. Thank you for supporting the show. I greatly appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for the 2 super chats that we picked up today from MTM Cass and also from Chris Olin. I love y'all. I appreciate you. I leave you this morning because my brother and his family will be coming up soon. I leave you this morning with Logan Lansing. Once again, I've been playing a lot of his music. And shout to Logan. I really appreciate him letting me do this because he's created some great stuff. This is our edict going into year 251. Never, ever trust a fucking communist. Kill the communist that resides in your head. Purge the socialist who lives within your, who seeks to destroy your country on the inside. Purge yourself of your socialist thinking. Purge yourself of your narcissism. The desire to be loved and liked by everyone. And realize that the most important thing, the only thing, is liberty and the defense of the Constitution of the United States. Better dead than red. May God bless you. May God bless this country. May God protect our troops. Yes, I do have to. That was one of the only, picking sense out of nonsense. That was a good thing that Biden used to say. May God bless the United States of America. May the Lord protect our troops. God bless the President of the United States. God bless Donald Trump. God bless the war chief, Pete Hegseth. God bless. Thank you, MTM Cast. I love you. Thank you so much. God bless everybody in this administration who are working tirelessly to protect us from this communist menace. May God bless Tulsi Gabbard, former DNI, praying for her husband as well. We're really thankful for all this. And yeah, that's about it. Now go drink some beer, eat plenty of hot dogs. We will not call them glizzies anymore, unless my wife kicked my ass on stream. God, that was so funny. But yeah, have fun today. Enjoy the fireworks. I love y'all. Peace.
Posting pics with the Bolsheviks, their enemies who vote for it. Open up the border, let the boats with the homeless in. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Mr. Mondami. Never trust the communist. Never trust the promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the consequence. Never trust the communist. Never trust the promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the consequence. Cheers to the champagne socialists. No regret when they vote them in. So intense when they sow this in. Bodies on the floor, they don't notice them. None of you heard about the gulag. Stop for their food farms, barred in the gulags. The train left the station with a choo-choo. Nothing worse than the smile when they shoot you. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Let's congratulate Mr. Mamdani. Never trust the communists. Never trust their promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the cause. Never trust the communists. Never trust their promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the cause.